Welcome to Fantasy Football Hub for the next episode in the My Team series. Today, I'm joined by a man who needs no introduction. Micah Richards is going to be, you might want an introduction, I don't know, but Micah Richards is going to be revealing his current FPL team. Micah, pleasure to have you on. How are you doing, my friend?
I am absolutely fantastic. How are you? Well, you know what? Every year, when it comes to this time of the year, I'm excited, I'm ecstatic. You're thinking, come on, fantasy football. It's that time, but it's difficult, because it's still chopping and changing and the transfer window's not finished yet. So the team I give you today, next week, it could be completely different, but I suppose we've got to start somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah, you're right, though. I mean, transfers are still happening, still rumours. We've got to think about form. We've only had pre-season to really go off of and the Community Shield, of course. But yeah, as of today, this is the team you're going. Before we get into it, before we start building your team, talk to me about your history of in fantasy football. You've obviously played the game now for a long time. You were telling me off camera. You love it. Why is that?
I love it. You know why? I think, one, it helps me with punditry because you know all the players, you know who's in form. It has all the stats, everything you need. So when Fantasy Football Hub asked me to join up, I was like, 100%. But it's weird because their tools are so good. I have a team which obviously I use with their tools, and I have a team to test myself as well to see how good I am.
I see.
So I have two to see what.
Nice.
Because, when you're doing your punditry and, when you're doing the top teams, no disrespect, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of the Championship as well. But when there's players who are sort of not unknown, but you've not seen as much, because I'm literally working every weekend on the Premier League. So to watch the Championship as well, it is very difficult. So it helps me with them players coming through. It helps me with homework. And it just helps me with everyday enjoyment of the life. When I win a game of fantasy football, it's the best day ever. It's the best day ever. If I'm in Match of the Day or I'm doing Super Sunday for Sky BBC, if I get an early 12:30 kickoff, if I get like a 20 points in the air, you'll see it on the air at night. You'll see me on air at 10:30. I've always got energy anyway, but True. I mean, I've got more of a spring in my step when it comes to 10:30 when we're recording. So fantasy football, it's taken over my life, but for the good reasons,
That's good. That's good to hear. That is good to hear. Yeah, it can absolutely make a day. That is for sure. You get a big haul early in the day. Wow, that has set you up for an absolute banger of a weekend. No doubt about it. So then, mate, let's get into your team for this season. I want to see some players that you've chosen that could give you unbelievable weekends and make you go crazy on broadcast. We're going to be building this, as always, on Fantasy Football Hub's My Team tool. It's gonna give Micah a team rating at the end, which will kind of be a judge of how good your team is according to the tool. And then we can compare it with other guests that we've had on the channel. And of course, the viewers' teams as well. If you would like to get your team rated, your fantasy team personalized to you, the link to do so for free is down below. Micah, here we go. Who is in goal this season?
You see, this is what I mean, Jack. This is what I'm trying to say. This is why it's difficult. I've changed my keeper, I'm not exaggerating, 10 times within the last hour. And wow. I'm not exaggerating because some are 4.5, some are 5, some are 5. And to get exactly what you need, I think at the start of the game, I just want players who are going to be guaranteed to start. That's the way I try to approach it, just to get the momentum going. So I had Ramsdale, but he's a little bit more. And then I had Sanchez, but is he you're a Chelsea boy. Is he going to start? Is he going in to start straight away?
I don't think so. No, definitely not straight away. No.
Away.
No way.
So I had to go with 4.5 Steele.
Nice.
Brighton.
Yeah. Good pick.
Good pick. Are you happy with that pick?
Absolutely. I mean, he was great last year. Why not again?
I mean, it's always easier coming into a season when you've got to you've got really no pressure because Brighton are a good side. They played ball anyway. Yes, he made some fantastic saves, but it's not like they was fighting relegation, Yeah,
it's true.
It's easy to play when your team's doing well, but I trust him. In Steele, I trust.
Wow, there you go. That's a strong first pick. It's a player that I will say we've seen in a lot of other drafts from FPL experts out there. Not saying you're not one,
Ooh,
but
experts. Okay.
yeah, people that have
Okay.
done very well in the past. So it's a
Mhm.
good pick. And who have you got as your second goalkeeper, Micah?
See, this is what I mean. This is where it goes all downhill.
Already on the second pick.
Yeah, I've gone Forster. I've got a
Yeah.
bargain basement. Like, yes, I know it is what it is, but keepers. I spent two. What I did last year, I had two keepers around the 5 mil and chopping and changing. And I thought to myself, like, okay, normally when you're a footballer, you think, okay, at home, get a clean sheet. That's just the way you think. Even when you're not like the greatest team in the league, you think, okay, if we're going to get clean sheets, it's going to be at home. So always put the keeper at home. But then people was going away and getting like 10 saves and getting bonus points. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm not spending no big money on goalkeepers this season. That is my strategy.
Yeah, mate.
I'm just going for
Honestly,
saves. I'm going for saves.
the thing with the goalkeeper position, and it's why a lot of people don't like spending loads of money there, is because it's really hard to predict when someone's going to get 10 points. Because yeah, often that comes in an away game, make loads of saves, the team hangs on, then they get the bonus points as well. So it makes sense. And a lot of managers do spend as little as they can in goal, which is what you've done. So I like it a lot.
So
Very
you like
strong.
it? Like, okay. So that's
You said it was going downhill. Sub goalkeeper 4 million. That's very normal. It's good stuff so far, I will say. Let's see who you've got in defense.
Okay. So this is where it gets a little sticky.
Wow.
It gets a little sticky. And because of this whole new position, I mean, John Stones, excellent, going in from defense to midfield and even to attack at times, marauding runs. But Alexander Arnold is a must. I don't care. He's 8 million. I don't care. He's a must. Corners,
He's in.
free kicks, through balls, and he's not let me down. He let me down last season. The start of last season, towards the end, he came back.
Yeah, he did. He came back.
Always have him. He's tried. He's trusted, and he always delivers. He's big though, but I'm going with Trent.
He is a lot of money, isn't he? But what a player. Talk about him as a player.
Top player.
Yeah.
And
Unbelievable,
he's going to be sliding into that midfield role. So yeah, I'm going with Trent. Yeah, happy with that.
I'm happy with it. I will say £8 million, and they don't look like super, safe for clean sheets, conceding a lot of goals to the likes of Bayern Munich in pre-season. But it's only pre-season.
But that's what I mean. That's what I think. That's what I think everyone's going to think like, oh, Liverpool are not going to get clean sheets, but they can't be any worse than last season. They've got some more legs in there in the midfield now. It looks like they've got a Nunes in pre-season. What happened with Liverpool last season? They would attack, and then they'd have a chance. They wouldn't score a chance. Someone would go at the goal line the other end, and someone would score. So if they finish off some of them chances and kill the game earlier, less pressure for them. That's my thinking anyway. That's my thinking.
That makes sense. And obviously, Trent has been an absolute fantasy beast in seasons gone by. And at the end of last season, as you said, unbelievable, back again in that new position. Okay, a lot of money, but a lot of money. Trent is in. Now, interestingly with Trent, he's only in about 20% of teams right now, which is very low for a man of his caliber. So a little bit actually of a differential there for you, Micah.
I just think with everyone has their favourites within the teams, don't they? And I was Ward-Prowse. No one really had him, and I stuck with him. I actually took him out a couple of times, and every time I took him out, he got something. And not everyone has him. Like, it's annoying when you play the game. You're leading by about 25 points, and then someone puts someone rubbish in there, gets loads of points, but then you're at your ceiling because everyone's got the same players that you have, so your differentials have to offer you something different,
Absolutely. That's why they're differentials, because if no one else has them and you have them, and they bang, it's massive. And Trent obviously has the capability of doing that. Okay, who is with him in defense?
Reece James.
Wow, a player I love. So good.
I can't believe he's so cheap. I know he's on his injury record, but 5.5 million.
What do you think? Best right back in the world on his day? It's a strong comment.
You know what? It's crazy. I think he has got the best between defend. I think he's the best defend and attack put together.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think he's the best at both. So I think Trent just edges him, and I'm talking about just edges him on like in terms of like his assists and stuff like that. Like he's just unbelievable, but he can defend as well. So if you're looking for a complete fullback, I think that's him. But I would take Kyle Walker in the bigger games just because of what he's done against Vinicius, against Mbappe, whoever it may be. I just think them one-on-one, he's dominated a lot more in them European games. But if I was picking one who's got everything, if I was starting a team and I wanted my player to play like who can attack, and if I pick Reece James. Wow. So yeah, he's that's how high. But the only thing with Reece James, he's starting to pick up little niggles and niggles, and it's like
so sad.
It's sad.
So sad. Yeah.
It's so sad. There's no way he should be 5.5. He should be 8.5.
It's the injuries. You're right. It's the injuries. Yeah, it is the injuries. Even in preseason, you know, there were concerns about him going out to America to join the rest of the squad. A knee niggle again, as you said. It's a shame, but that is why he's cheap. It's because, you know, across the season, he is unfortunately now likely to pick up injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is going to be with him in defense?
So do you want me to give you all my defenders, or do you want me to give you just my starting 11?
You know what? Let's do the starting 11. Yeah. Let's stick to the fun ones.
Yeah. So I've always had Trippier. Trippier last season for me was outstanding. But you know what annoyed me last season about Newcastle is Trippier was getting obviously assists and whatnot, and he gets a lot of bonus to Trippier because he puts a load of balls in his passing and all that sort of thing. But people had like Dan Burn at 4.5 million or whatever it was, and he was getting clean sheets. So I was like, hold on, I'm spending this money on Trippier, and people are still getting the clean sheets if Trippier doesn't get an assist, and it was winding me up. So I've gone for a different strategy this year. I've gone for Botman. Botman,
nice.
Yes. Cheap and cheerful, 4.5 million. To keep a clean sheet, he's in there.
Yeah, I mean, so far I'm very impressed. Botman's a great pick. No doubt about it. He's underpriced, 4.5 million, as you say, for one of the best defenses last year. Statistically, literally up there with City in terms of their expected numbers against and goals conceded. So yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. He's a great pick at 4.5 million. The fixtures aren't great, I will say, but they get better.
But this is what I mean about fantasy football. Like, how many times have we said fixtures are not great, and then you get like it's weird. The way I'm doing it, obviously people do it and look at the first 5 or 6 fixtures and whatnot. I just want a set team which I don't really have to tamper with too much.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is if I want to make changes, I'll wait 2 weeks and make 2 subs and have a free. That's the way I want to do it. I don't want to be constantly chopping and changing, because what killed me last season as well is too many minus.
Really, too many hits.
Too many hits. Taking a hit every week, thinking I was clever. Okay, I'm going to get this person at home and put this person as cap. It just didn't work. So that's the way I'm approaching this season.
Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, we did say off camera that last season for us didn't really count.
It was a myth season last season. You can't count last season as a victory. You can't. It spoiled the game. Wound me up, if I'm being totally honest.
Wow. Bit of a farce, you know.
It was a farce.
We can forget about that.
The World Cup in between the fantasy football. What sort of nonsense is this? And then there was 1 week where there was no games, and then it was just it was a nonsense. Too many cancelled games.
Hopefully this season we'll be back to a bit more of a normal schedule.
Yeah, we need normality.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so that is 3 defenders. Do you have another starting defender, or are you going for 3 at the back?
No, so I'm changing it up as well. And I started like this last year. There's not enough strikers for me that get enough. So I'm going to pack out the defense and midfield. Sure. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to play 4 at the back.
Okay, nice. Who's your 4th defender then?
Estepina.
This is a very, very solid team, I will say. We're seeing these players in a lot of teams. Why have you gone for Purvis?
I've gone with it because last season he was outstanding. So when we're in like the office and we're looking at these sort of stats, And when I know a good player is when you see him playing well, but then the stats marry up.
Yeah.
So, like, when these stats come up, they got 100% pass completion or whatever it is. Like, when I'm looking at it, forget the stats for a minute. When I'm looking at the game, okay, how many of them passes were forward, How many times did he just go back to his centre half and play it safe? So I look at more than just the stats with him. And he was brilliant last season. Loves going forward. Like, I love the fact that him and Matoma, the relationship they've got down that side. And I just think he's all-round game. I love attacking fullback. So, yeah, that's why he's in my team.
Yeah, great pick. Well, he's in over half the teams now in fantasy football. So a lot of people are agreeing with you. Yeah, and some great opening fixtures. The predicted points look really good as well. Opening to Luton at home, with respect, it doesn't get necessarily much better than that. First three look really good. Luton, Wolves away, West Ham at home. He's in a lot of teams for good reason.
For good reason, yeah, it is. I mean, it was expected, and I think it's quite a steal. What is he, 5 million?
Yeah, quite
5
cheap.
million? Yeah, I think he's quite cheap. I think if it was 5.5, I might have to rejig it a little bit, but 5 million is sort of in that nice price range for me.
Okay, so that is the starting defence. Let's move on to the midfield. We'll get back to the bench defender later on. This is where it's big. I want to see how much money you've spent here.
Okay, and this is where it's chopped. I chopped and changed it again half an hour ago. It's so difficult, but I made the mistake of not playing Salah last year. I took him out for the long, and I'm not making that mistake again. In goes Salah. In goes Mo Salah, running down the way. He's my first pick this year. He's my first pick.
He's the first one. Wow. There we go. You can't not. I mean, he's been so good in the Premier League for so many years now. He's put himself in that conversation of, I don't know what you think about this, but best African Premier League players of all time. He's got to be up there, doesn't he?
Yeah, if you look at the Salah, there's Mane, there's Yaya Toure, Drogzilla.
Thank you.
I mean,
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I can't disrespect Drogzilla like that. SCN. I mean, there's so many, but I think in terms of numbers, and you know what, the good thing about Salah is he left Chelsea, or the Chelsea, as you lot call it, the Chelsea. Harry McCurdy, who's a mad Chelsea fan, I was with him at Aston Villa. He calls them the Chelsea. So I'll say the Chelsea. And having gone from Chelsea, then going to Fiorentina, and then going from Fiorentina to Roma. And a lot of people's like, oh, he can't do it in the Premier League, So I like the fact he's proved everybody wrong in that respect. And things what I love about Salah, even when he's not playing well, he'll still get a goal or assist.
Yeah.
That is key, especially on this game. It's key.
Yeah, it's true. Obviously, a lot of money again, but he's backed it up overseas. Yeah, consistently gets so many points.
What is he? 12.5?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But there are players in the game that are more than that. I'm sure we'll come on to later on. But yeah, Salah, 12.5 million in your team, predicted to do very well this season once again. But you don't need predicted tools to know that. It's Mo Salah after all. And Liverpool look good. They're scoring a lot of goals once again in pre-season.
You know what's annoyed me though with this whole fantasy football? Jesus so gutted, like he got injured. But a lot of people picked Jesus. Then that allowed me to go like a different method with my team.
Yeah.
So, but now obviously he's picked up an injury. I think a lot more people are going to go with midfielders when a lot of people is going to go 3, probably 5-2.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I've gone with the extra defender, and then it's messed up a little bit. But anyway, do you want to hear my next one?
Let's go for it. Who's next?
Bukayo.
Yeah. I mean, what can we say about this man? So good, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's done well in pre-season. The only thing this season with Saka is he going to be more a man to man? And you know what it's like? It's difficult. Like when you're that player or that guy and people are doubling up on you, it's very, very difficult. So if we go back to last season, Saka was brilliant all season, but against the Man Cities and the bigger teams, like they was just doubling up on him. Soon as he got the ball, he offers so much to that team. He found it very difficult when it came up against, like, I'm not saying he ran out of ideas, but Man City did their due diligence on exactly how good he was, or how good he is, and how effective he could be with that team. And I just think there's going to be more teams now. Like, you look at Arsenal, you're looking, okay, who's their main man? You're looking at Odegaard's going to supply. Obviously, Rice is going to give you legs in midfield, box to box. But you're looking at Saka, who's going to make the difference in the game. So it's just whether he can deal with being that guy again, this season.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. When a player bursts onto the scene, as he famously once did, in that first season, there's that kind of surprise quality that people don't know about. How do we defend against this guy? But then, a little bit more analysis, you get to know him, you know his tricks, you know what he likes doing. It becomes harder, but then that's how you become a great player, right? You have to deal with that sort of stuff.
And I think he's well on the way to being a great player. But I just, like there's so many players who reach that, like it looks like so, example, Vinicius. It was only a couple of seasons ago when Benzema was telling his teammates not to pass to him because he wasn't trusted within the team. And then he overcame that, and now he's a star of Real Madrid. So Saka's going to go for a place where like things are not going to go all his way, but then how do you come out of that? And then even just like when he missed the penalty in the Euros, shoulders back. Look, I'm Saka. Took more penalties after that. He's got real. He's got it. But it's like, now, okay, how can we get to that next level?
Yeah, and we'll wait and see this season. I expect him to kick on, to be honest, because at least the thing with Arsenal is they have a lot of other talented players, as you say. I think they'll be a bit more relied upon. Martinelli chips in with goals. Jesus, it's a shame that he's injured, of course, because that does put more pressure on the likes of Saka to get goal contributions. But looking at the stats here, 14 goals last season, 12 assists. Very, very elite stuff for a winger, right? Yeah. So in your team, in a lot of teams as well. How many teams is he in? 56% of teams. Yeah. It makes sense. It does make sense.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, who is next?
Mitoma.
Nice.
Yes. You mentioned the fixtures earlier, didn't you? With Brighton, obviously starting at home against Luton. But regardless of the fixture, he would have been in anyway. I had him in pretty early last season. And when someone studied how to dribble, then you've got to put him in, really, haven't you? He's passed the test on dribbling. So
quite literally, yeah.
He's in for me. He's in.
Yeah, fair enough. I will say with him though, just like you're saying with Saka, now he's had that breakout season. Do you think that people might cotton on to what he's doing? He has that one move where he stops players dead, then goes quickly. Do you think people are trying to work that out?
People will definitely work him out. But I think, there's different stages to the manual. If he's graduated in dribbling, he's done first page. Let's turn the page now. If someone knows this, let's do something else. So, and he's only 6.5 million.
Yeah.
Cheap. So I'm sticking with him. With him. I just think he's too good. He's too good not to. If you look at what's available at that price range, even though he's in a Brighton team, which a lot of people would say, okay, he's not a top 4 team, why don't you go for someone else? But I just think the way Brighton play and what De Zerbi's got him doing is definitely one to keep.
Yeah, great pick. And the predicted points reflect that. Just greens across the board. Looks really, really good. Really, really encouraging from Mitoma early season. So you said you're going with a 4-4-2, is that right?
No, I'm going to go with a 4-5-1.
Ah, yeah, okay. All right, so 2 more midfielders that are going to start to round off the midfield then.
So I changed it a minute ago. I had Rice in there.
Okay.
And I had Trippier in defence. So I thought, well, I want to go with guaranteed defenders like Trippier. I want him in there. But I just believe, having watched Maddison and his confidence, and yes, I don't know, reliant on if Kane's staying or going or whatnot, but I just think even if Kane goes, with set pieces, with chest out, someone who performed so well at a team that was struggling in Leicester, I just think he's got so much to give, and he's 7.5 million. If I need to change him after a couple of weeks, it still gives me good value to get someone else very good as well.
Yeah.
So I've just stuck with Maddison.
Yeah. 19 goal involvements last year in that team. You
That's
make a
what I
great
mean.
point.
It can
Yeah.
only get better than that, surely.
You'd think so. I don't see why not. In a really attacking team with the likes of Son running off him, Kane helping him out creatively, I don't see how he can't do well. As you mentioned, he's on all set pieces. Probably.
Kulusevski looks better
Yeah.
in pre-season. I just think Maddison, and how many people have picked Maddison?
So not a lot, but I think that's because there are so many midfield options this year. I mean, so many. We have about 12 to 15 that are really legitimate fantasy picks that could absolutely explode. But
Yes.
12% of teams right now, which is criminally low for someone of his quality, you could say, but it does make sense when we look at the other options that are available. But yeah, only 12% of teams.
And I originally had Mount in there, but Mount seems to, like, you can't really judge someone off pre-season. You can't, because I started really well in pre-season, and my first like 10, 15 games were really good. I was like a fast starter. But after like winter time, my form just dipped a little bit, where
Really?
a lot of the players, like, they're slow. If you look at Man City over the last couple of years, start really slow. And just when everyone's like dropping off a little bit, they're getting into their peak. It's weird. And I just don't know. Like, he's not started, but he's one I want to keep an eye on throughout the season. Is Mount at United? And at the moment, I've got no United players.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, but that could change. But this is just for now.
Yeah. So Maddison is in though.
Yes, Maddison is in.
So who's the fifth?
And again, this could change. I've gone with Bernardo Silva.
You know what? Actually, I like this pick a lot. I do. We don't see him in many teams at all. But explain why you've gone for him.
I've gone with him because I know there's links of him going to Barcelona, and it's uncertainty at the start of the season. But he's just one of them players who, when he's fit, and he always seems to be playing or make a difference within the game. So like Grealish and Foden will be more money, but Bernardo, if he starts, because you never know who's going to start in Man City's team, do you? You know, no one knows. And sometimes I put someone like Kevin De Bruyne in, and if he picks up an injury or if he doesn't, I feel like I've wasted too much money for that to happen.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to spend big money, it has to be guarantees. That's why I've gone with the likes of Trent, with the likes of Salah, with the likes of my striker, who you probably know who that's going to be. Anyway,
We'll get to him, yeah.
We'll get to him. But I just think with Bernardo, like, he can play in so many different positions. And when Man City going through their absolute best form, like when Kevin De Bruyne is injured, everyone's like, oh, Man City. Then Bernardo just steps up. He really does just step up. And his points weren't that great last season. And I don't think a lot of people will have him. But I just think for the price at 6.5 million, it'll be a good one to have early doors, and I can change him if he does leave.
Yeah, the predicted points aren't great because we're not entirely sure if he's going to start or not. But, well, as you say, he can play in a lot of positions, which I think affects his points output, or his potential anyway. What I want to ask you is, with Mahrez obviously leaving, Gundogan leaving as well, could you see Bernardo playing more in that right wing? I'm just not sure who else could play there. Obviously, Foden can do it, but he hasn't played in the right wing loads across his Man City career. I'm not sure who else could do it apart from Bernardo. What do you think?
I think that, and that's why I think he's got more chance. Like, if he stays, there'll be more people putting Bernardo in their team, because Pep, and I don't want to, talk like I know what he's thinking or something, but a lot of the times he just goes with people who he can rely on. Yeah. It's not always just about the ability. If you're looking towards the latter stages of last season, like Bernardo, he's that guy, isn't he?
He relies on him. He does. You're right.
He relies on him, and I just think, even though Cole Palmer's goal the other day, like, Cole Palmer's going to be one, bring on, have a couple of starts, and make a difference. And I just think, in terms of that position, he can play left, he can play right, he can play attacking, he can play deeper. I just think he'll be one who will go to a lot of the time, and a lot of things, like people like Kovacic coming in. Unbelievable player. He's like going to fit in so well. But can you play him in the same positions you're going to play Bernardo in? And I think Bernardo can offer a little bit more offensively. So he'll definitely, well, he definitely can offer more offensively, but different variety in different positions where I think he'll play more.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And I think it's also worth remembering that although he's in very few teams right now, a couple of seasons ago, he was in so many teams. He was an excellent fantasy option. There's no reason I don't think anyway, as to why he couldn't do that again. It's just that role that he's employed in, isn't it? That will determine his output and how many goals and assists he gets, which is obviously so important for fantasy. But yeah, if he's playing right wing, I think at 6.5 million for a Man City right winger, a bit of a joke, right? It's a great price.
He's going to start. He's going to start the season. Whether he stays, I don't know. He has to start the season. Yeah. He's got too much energy. You're thinking about the first game away as well. So what they got? Burnley.
Yeah, Friday night.
I'm going to Burnley. It's going to be rocking. I watched Burnley play a lot last season in the Championship just because Company was a manager, wanted to give him a little bit of support. And they can play football. They take a lot of risks and they won't change what they're going to do. But I just feel there's going to be gaps. And Bernardo, with his energy and the way Burnley want to press, he'll start. And then it might not be Haaland who gets all the goals, but it might be the third man runners who get the goals in that game.
Oh, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
They're going to go for it, I think. We've seen the first game of the season before. I'm thinking of Brentford Arsenal, where the team at home just are so up for it. And they're like, wow, we've got this big team that we can really just go for. Kind of a free hit. No one's expecting Burnley to do much in that game. But in front of the fans, first game back in the league. Yeah, could be a really exciting atmosphere. But Bernardo in for that control, just reliability, as you said. It makes sense to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, then. Let's get on to the forwards, because this is where the money's going to be spent. 27 million. I think I know a player that might be in there. I don't know. You tell me.
Just a guy called Haaland. I mean,
he's in.
Haaland, like, this guy is just a machine. Absolute machine. I mean, it's one of those where, like, it costs too much money, but he could score 4 or 5 at any time. He doesn't have to play well. Like, he's a fantasy football, like, dream. I do want Kevin De Bruyne in my team at some stage, but because he had the injury in the Champions League final, and then he came on in the Charity Shield game, didn't he? When he come on, when I watch the game and I'm just looking at the spaces and stuff that he's in, I'm just like, the way he looks and plays the ball forward, like, so quickly. Like, once he's up to speed, he's going to be problems again. Oof. But I mean, Haaland is just... It was weird because last year it was a Community Shield. It was Liverpool, Man City, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Everyone was comparing Darwin to Haaland, and Haaland didn't play well in that Community Shield game. But I was just like, you're watching the wrong thing. Look at his movement. Look at the things that he's doing, but it's not gone well for him. Once that comes, he's going to score a hat full of goals, and that's exactly what he did. So Haaland's in. That is it, man. That is my 4-5-1.
Wow. But you're so right as well. But even though he's not even been amazing this preseason, he actually had an XG. I don't know how much you're a fan of data like this, but he had an XG of 0.
Keep them coming.
XG of 0 against Arsenal the other day. Literally 0. Yeah. Didn't have a shot.
But that's because he's up against a well-coached Arsenal side who... When we talked about Saka earlier, or Mitoma when you're the marked person in the team, it becomes difficult. And everyone knows what Haaland can do. So no one talks about, okay, he might have to make one run, then another run, then just keep making runs because he's not getting the ball because he's a marked man. So, but when he does get it, he needs to make sure that he's scoring. And people say Haaland does make a lot of chances, but it's because of the positions he puts himself to get them chances. Yeah, that's what's more impressive to me.
Locked in for your team, then, 100%.
Locked in.
Okay, so that is the 11. Who have you got on the bench just to round things off?
So yeah, the bench is not great, to be honest.
That's okay.
Forster already.
Yeah,
but I've gone with Bayer.
Yeah.
So Bayer is the centre half at Burnley. He played in the Championship last year. You probably know this already, but he's a really dependable, like solid centre half. Like, and he can play as well. They've signed him on a permanent now. I think he was on loan last season, but he could sign for a certain amount if in Burnley's option. They've signed him straight away, and he was integral in what they did, playing out from the back. So obviously it's against Man City first game, so he'll be the one who'll just, when Burnley have got good fixtures, he'll come in or whatnot. Second one is Archer.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's at the Villa. What is he? 4.5 million. He's best of the rest.
Yeah. It's on your bench. It's understandable.
Yeah, but I need to ask you though. You know, with the bench, do you use your bench a lot though? Because that's my problem. I have a good 11 normally, but then I falter when it comes to my bench.
Well, this is one of the things this season, and this is why you may think that, you know, people don't mind or people don't really care too much about players like Bayer or your opinion on players like Bayer. But given what you know, that's very valuable information. Saying that he's locked in, played really well last season. It's good stuff because, again, if you watch just the Premier League, you may not know too much about this player. Which is I think is fair enough, as you mentioned. But because we now have these players at 4 million that look like they're going to be starting for their teams, it allows us to have cheap benches and go for players like Bayer. Now, in regards to your point, yeah, a lot of people are putting the majority of their money into the first 11. But because we have these 4 million players that can come on when we need them, but ideally they wouldn't, but just in case, at least they are playing, they're going to start. I think it's okay this season to go for a bit cheaper on the bench than usual. Yeah. But I mean, in Archer and Bayer, you've got two great players there, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think Archer was going to have an impact this year, but they've got so much quality now, Villa, haven't they?
They do. But Archer's so good, though. I mean, I remember against us, he scored a great goal in the cup. I was like, wow, he was brilliant in that game.
It's just difficult, though, isn't it? Because, like, you know, when you're building, when you're going from a top 6 team, and you want to be challenging for the titles, or like a lot of young players miss out, not because they're not good enough, just because of the standard you have to have, and squads are getting bigger now. Like, if you look at the squads, it's like, well, how's a young player supposed to compete with that? So
yeah,
I do get it, but it's nice to see young players given a chance.
That's true though. With Villa now looking to kick on, if you're signing Pau Torres and Tielemans in a
That's
window,
what I mean.
It's pretty elite, isn't it? Yeah,
it's elite. It's elite.
Fair enough.
And the third one is Mbamba.
Yeah, nice.
So, again, a lot of people wouldn't know much about him, but he played really well for West Ham in pre-season, and it's 4.5, and I want it to be a little bit different, sort of like a secret weapon. So, like, if I need him to, with West Ham, there's no real, when you've got Scamacca, you've got Ings, you've got Antonio, like, they're all different type of players, but you never know who's guaranteed to start. Maybe Antonio, he's probably played the most out of all of them, but I think he offers a little bit something different, quite quick, runs in behind, knows where the net is. I think it could be a big year for him. So I'll put him with him.
Yeah, again, in a lot of teams right now, because he's had such a good preseason. I think in the last preseason game, he actually started ahead of the established strikers that they have at the club, which surprised a few.
That's what I mean. It just needs to happen, though. These players need to give it a run. But what happens, again, is, I know we're going on for too long here, but when you're a manager and you're under pressure and you're fighting, like, no respect, you're not going to bring a young player through when it's to save your future.
Yeah.
That goes out the window. It's about getting a result. And what happens when you need a result? Experience, you tighten up, and it becomes very difficult. But hopefully, start of the season, get him some games under his belt, and he's got to take his chance when he gets it.
It's true. I don't know. I always think about the likes of Harry Kane. If he didn't get that chance for Spurs, then where may he be in his career right now? You've got to give him a run. Obviously, he did so well at the start, and it's Harry Kane. But, you've got to give these young players a chance. Okay, Micah, that is your team. Now it's the all-important moment where we reveal your team rating. Are you ready? What do you think you're going to get? What do you
out
think?
of what? What is it rate out
So it's
of?
100%, 100%. It's just a percentage, and it's according to Fantasy Football Hub's AI and algorithm and all the data they have.
Is that for the full season or is this for game week 1?
So for the
How
team,
does it work?
yeah. So there's a game week 1 rating, which I can tell you, which you get a game week rating every week. But the team rating is done over the first 5 weeks.
Ooh, I think I'll be quite low. I think my team's good, but I think I'll be quite low because of the first 5 fixtures. You know, so I'm gonna go 60%.
No. Nowhere near.
Nowhere near.
92%, my friend.
92%, is that good? Yeah.
That's great. It's very good. Yeah, it's great.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, 92%. What can you say?
Okay. Yeah, but what's yours? Yours is probably about like 99% or something.
No. The thing is, like, when you pick players that are more like nailed on or more boring, then yeah, you can increase the percentage. For example, you've gone with James, whose predicted points are a bit lower just because he has those injury doubts. So if you went for someone like a Chilwell, perhaps you would get a higher team rating, but you've chosen James over Chilwell because you think he's a better player, right? Or
Correct.
Well, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but
no, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
And with Bernardo as well, you could go for example, Mbermo is the Brentford man that seems to be in a lot of teams.
Yeah, but he works really well with Tony, and he's a class player, Mbermo. But with Tony being out until January, Wissa, excellent player, but it's not like the way Tony holds a ball and brings people into play. I think that could have an effect on Mbermo,
Absolutely. Well, anyway, 92% team rating, very good. Predicted points of 62 for the first game week. If I offered you that right now, would you take it?
62. Really, I want to be at 70 points. I know I could change it and get 70 points for the fixtures, but I'm happy with my team.
That is very important. Being patient is important. Yeah, fair enough.
I'll take my 62 points now. I'll sign them up. Yeah. That's not including captain points, or is it?
It is including captain points. Who would you? Yeah. So it might be a bit low. That I don't know.
A bit low, it's a bit low.
Wow.
But I'll take it. I'm sticking with it.
Good stuff. So that is the team, and that is Micah's team. 92% team rating means there is a little bit of room for improvement, though. And what we're going to do now very quickly is have a look at Fantasy Football Hub's AI recommended transfers personalized to Micah's team, which could see that team rating improve. Okay then, Micah, here are your AI recommended transfers personalized to your team. Guys, if you want to get your own AI recommended transfers week in, week out across the season, you get 3 in preseason, and then team dependent, you'll get some every game week. Could be to roll the transfer, make 1, 2, or even take a hit. And the link to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub is down below in the description. Make sure you are signed up before the season starts to get 50% off. And if you don't win your mini league this season, you will get all your money refunded to you. That is how confident the guys at Fantasy Football Hub are in the site and tools like this. Okay, Micah. The first couple of moves are these. Salah and Bernardo Silva are both out for Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. So 2 Man United players coming in for Salah and Bernardo. What do you think about that? I will just say there is another move because you get a bit of money here that I think you'll like. But for now, Rashford and Bruno in for Salah and Bernardo.
Rashford's outstanding. We know what Rashford did last season. And I think he'll come back the same this season. But I just don't know what Man United's gonna turn up. I don't know. Like pre-season, there was okay, some good performances. Obviously, new goalkeeper. Still think they need a new striker. And when I say strike, I don't mean like Højlund, outstanding, really good player. But I think they need more like not target man, but like a Mitrovic, Tony, or someone who's just going to hold the ball up. And I don't mean that sort of player, but just someone who can. So when they're like doing their attacks and stuff, like a Berbatov, someone who's going to, when the ball comes to him, it's going to stick. So then, everyone can do their run-ins and all that. I feel like sometimes when I'm watching United, like everything goes quick, goes to the wings, and then there's no focal point in the middle of the pitch, up front. So that's why I'm like, Fernandes again, top player. Like he's underperformed probably last season compared to other seasons. He's someone I've always liked. Tech set pieces. I get it, but no, I'm not taking out Salah. I can't take out Salah. I get the Bernardo, but I'm not taking out Salah.
Fair enough. Now, the final move that it recommends, because you do save a bit of money by doing those two transfers, is your man Bayer going out for John Stones, which is a big upgrade there. It is, to be fair. So that's what these moves enable. And we're talking about having a more solid bench. That would mean that you could drop Botman, for example, to the bench and have him there ready to go if any of your players get injured or rotated or come out of the team for whatever reason. Botman ready to go. So more secure, and you get Stones in the first 11.
Oh, it's a good shout that. So I want to have what? Fernandes, Rashford, and Stones.
Yeah.
Bayer, Salah, and Bernardo.
Exactly.
On the base of it sounds fantastic. But I don't know if I can make it, to be honest.
It's one of the heart v head, I think it comes down to, doesn't it?
I get the Rashford. I should have Rashford in it at some stage, but I can't take out Salah. If I take out, have you got Salah or not?
Well, I'm just the host. I'm not. I don't have him right now. I'll be honest. I don't have him right now, but he's close. He's close. He's close.
What a tool that is, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
It's basically telling you take them out. And this is where it's heart versus head, isn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is, you can decide whether to just completely ignore this. And that is part of it. It just gives you a little indication as to what you could possibly do to change up your team. But in the same way that you can do these moves, we're more than happy to say just do not do them. It just gives you a little something else to think about.
Yeah, it does. As if my brain wasn't already scrambled.
Might have to change your team even more. I don't know. But there we go. Those are your recommended transfers. I feel like, Micah, you may be going up until the deadline with this, deliberating.
I'm definitely going to the deadline, 100%. But that's what makes fantasy football what it is, though.
Yeah, of course. That is why we love the game.
My life.
Well, there we go. Those are your recommended transfers. And mate, that is going to do it for the video. Once again, thank you very much for coming on. Great stuff. The team, I'm going to be honest, it looks really good. Even though there are those recommended transfers there, which you can take or leave. The team that you picked, 92% team rating, is excellent. You got to say.
Happy with that?
I'm delighted. I mean, I expected nothing less. I will say, as you say, you've played this game for a long time now. You know what you're doing. But yeah, it's good stuff. Really good stuff. Guys,
well, if it gets your approval, I'm happy.
It definitely gets my approval, that is for sure. Micah, mate, thank you very much. Really enjoyed this one. Guys, again, please do go ahead, take advantage of all the stuff you've seen in this video. My team is completely free. And then if you like what you see and you want to take advantage of AI recommended transfers and everything else across the site, sign up now. Link below, 50% off. And also, if you do not win your mini league, you get your money refunded. There are T's and C's there, but take advantage while you still can. Micah, thank you so much for this one. And I will see you guys on the next episode.